My lord, you've received a letter, delivered with some urgency as it happens. I thought the messenger might swoon, poor dear. It's from Stalwart. Apparently the mayor, Renengild, has heard of your success here at Cadnua, and hopes you can be of aid to her people as well. Stalwart is a mining community, and at one time they enjoyed a great deal of influence. Renengild hopes to reclaim old glories, I expect. It seems she's intent on gaining access to Durgan's battery, and she's offering quite the reward to anyone who can get inside. Ah, the very same. All manner of people have been trying to infiltrate the keep for years. Our own Earl was much taken with the story of the battery's fall. There are many legends concerning the battery. As the Earl told it, the dwarves fought amongst themselves, each seeking to use the battery to further his or her own ambitions. Greed and cruelty brought down the battery, and now the spirits of those same dwarves roam the halls. Whatever happened, the battery has been impenetrable ever since. A shame. I don't doubt that there are great treasures still within those halls. I should mention that among those rumored to have answered Renengild's summons is a certain group I believe you may have an interest in. Followers of Woodica, intent on reaching Stalwart and the battery. I do not know what they seek there, but I thought it worth mentioning, given your interest in the ruins at Defiance Bay. Now that I've delivered Renengild's message, there is also a local matter of some concern, my lord. A mercenary band has been sighted to the northeast. I believe they mean to take Consul Hot's tower, and I don't expect the Archmage will go quietly.
Consul Hot's one of the greatest wizards of our generation!
If the Torn Bannermen succeed in claiming Consul Hot's lands, they may find Cadnua a tempting target. I fear you may have to deal with them eventually, one way or another. Little enough, I'm afraid. The Torn Bannermen are well supplied and well organized, and there are rumors that they are backed by an unknown benefactor. They have proved remarkably effective in the past, and they are certainly a threat now. A famed archmage. I am given to understand that the Brackenberry Sanitarium puts much stock in his work, as regards the manipulation of the soul. His spells are widely circulated. But he is poorly regarded in many circles. Some call him a madman, or else cruel and barbarous. He must be very old by now. Perhaps that is why the Torn Bannermen believe they can best him. Safe travels, my lord.
Stop there. Where do you think you're going? This area is under the control of the Torn Bannermen. Anyone else wanders in, they're not leaving again. For starters, I've got orders to put a sword through your gut if you don't turn around and run back home. Wait, Cadnua. You mean you're the one everyone's talking about? Saving orphans, fighting off bandits, all that? Look, hang on a second. Let's not get too
Enough! The commander said no exceptions. I'm not ending up on a pike because this dog has you pissing your trousers.
Sorry, my lord. I'm sure the commander will take good care of Cadnua for you.
Hold. He's got this far. I ought to have a look at him at least. Commander Ballerin, leader of the Torn Bannermen. You've been a right pain in the balls, whoever you are. What do I call you? No sense making this more unpleasant than it has to be. Even a few minutes can be made to feel like eternity. I've lost a lot of fucking men out there. Consul Hot's one thing, but why are you here cutting down my soldiers? I figure I can guess, but please, let's hear it from the man himself. My men had orders to warn off any intruders, without unnecessary bloodshed. Every one of them knows I expect my commands followed to the fucking letter. And God's help the man that slips. No, I'd say you're here for the same reason as the rest of us. A powerful artifact, hidden within the keep. That's bait to tempt any beast. But the artifact is ours. Whoever set their tongue to wagging about it, they did you a great wrong. Nobody comes into our camp and lives. I think that's about the end of it. You ready? I'll make it quick for you. Suppose there's no harm in that. I don't promise I'll answer. Only that the phylactery's worth a fucking fortune. More than just your usual piece of Anguithan history, I mean. No idea what it does. Don't much care. Our employer wants it found, and delivering it's gonna see us paid enough coin to buy one of the republics. After tactical advice? Was going well enough at first. But the moment we cracked open the outer wall, Consul Hot's pets started clawing their way out of the ruins. Caught the first wave off guard, and carved them to gobbets. We've pressed them back to the keep for the time being, but it's delayed our victory. Once the reinforcements arrive, we will storm the keep in force. It's just a matter of time. Could prop your corpse up somewhere after. You could scare off the looters. Dead men, walking and fighting like the living. They've armor thick enough to foul our arrows, and they can conjure spells to burn a man alive. At night, you can see them on the bluff, like a line of torches, their eyes burning. They don't come down into our camp. They wait up there for us to come to them. Good question. No one's got a clear sense of that. We haven't seen him on the field of battle. The old fuck may have gotten himself eaten by the dead men. He could be controlling them. Or the first volley of stones left him crushed under his own keep. Won't know until we get in there and see for ourselves. Someone without much love for Consul Hot, huh? Let's just say they have a lot of coin to throw around, and high standards. Thing is, discretion's included in the service. You'll just have to make do with me. I'll give Consul Hot your regards.
Stand back, ghoul. I'll summon you when I have need of you. Effigy's eyes, who are you? I don't have time for this. Get out of here and leave me to my work, all right? I should hope so. I've been trying to stabilize them, prevent them from decaying further. Of course, the process is not yet complete. If you've never studied his repertoire of spellwork, never read of his accomplishments in Maestra Albena's histories of modern magic, and somehow missed the small army he's held back outside, then no, I don't know what to tell you. Except that he's a powerful wizard with little patience. Why must you bother me with such inane questions? Go interrupt one of the other apprentices. Their time is much less valuable than mine. Has my progress been too slow? Did Consul Hot send you to... No matter.
Watch it! Distract me again and you're like to lose an eye. Consul Hot hasn't even bothered to come out of his study since the attack started, so why should I worry? Need something? I'm still busy here. If Consul Hot didn't want you here, you'd have known it the moment you came down those stairs. And then you'd be dead. If you were lucky. Cataloging weights, centers of gravity, controlling a 3.5-foot blade in the air is harder than it looks. He's not someone you want to cross, or disappoint. You know, I really should get back to work. Aside from me, there are 3 other apprentices working on their own projects. I don't know anything about Sobel or Peldon, but stay away from Tanos, the Vithrak. There's something about him I don't trust. That filthy spider put you up to this? He's using you, you know. Thinks he can control you like one of his mindless puppets. Tell you what, you help me instead, and I'll give you whatever he's offered, plus a little extra. Deal? Good. Come back when you've got the other pieces of the key. That's a good start. Let me know when you found the rest, and I'll give you my piece. Need something? I'm still busy here. Good. Take this too. Now, just so we're clear, I don't know your business with him, and I don't want to either. So if you get into trouble, don't expect me at your side. Far as I'm concerned, our business is happily concluded.
You have the soul of one who is always restless, always searching. I wonder, is that what brought you to me? What did you expect to find? An old man hiding from his attackers? Or a young man taking the battle to them? Weak or strong, the flesh expires. To survive, one must transcend it. I'm a lich, and beyond the grip of a common death, for I have already embraced an uncommon one. If you knew what it was, then you should have known better than to challenge the man who's mastered it. But no matter. I was hoping you'd come. Spells are fueled by ambient essence in the ether, a miserly trickle of energy that leaks from the wheel. Because the medium is so poor, A wizard must normally focus his efforts on the runes and incantations that channel it. But imagine what could be done with a more powerful source of essence. A watcher's soul, for instance. Would you think to steal it from under my nose? As if it were so easy. A phylactery isn't some bauble I wear around my neck or hide in a chest. It's a complex layer of spellwork, carved into my skull with runes and sealed with a peg of Adra. It is the reason I'm here, surviving. In my eyes or theirs, you've surely heard of the great archmages of Eora. Nina Gauth, Minoletta, Sitzel, and Kolakoth. Arkemir and Lengroth, too. We've all shaped the study and practice of magic. Just not always to our mutual taste. One of the other archmages, no doubt. My wager's on Arkemir or Lengroth, always hiding behind glamours and diversions. But it could have been any of my rivals. The most demanding and visionary kind. The kind that wizards have argued over for centuries. Names like Cadabald the Red, and Mora of the Seven Hills. Even you must know of them. The power to warp and wind time, like a skein of wool wrapped about your finger, to strangle its flow to a mere trickle, perhaps to reverse it altogether.
You set out for Stalwart. The White March rises up in the distance, stretching to the north and south as far as the eye can see. It beckons to you with peaks like broken fingers. The road thins to a tattered ribbon, and the shadow of the mountains falls across your path. You've barely begun your climb when the darkening sky pummels you with hailstones and turns the ground beneath you to ice. You press on. The air grows thin, and the treacherous mountain passes funnel screeching winds past your ears. A blizzard forces you to make camp for 3 days, huddling for safety while snow piles around your refuge. At last the weather clears, and you approach Stalwart under a crisp blue sky. There's a noise, high and sharp, coming from the village that sounds at first like another frozen gale. But when you top the rise and reach the village's wooden gates, you see what lies beyond them.
It's Darzyr, with a whole pack of them!
We can take these bastards!
You did it. You saved them both.
I heard the ogres outside, tearing down walls and murdering folk. Don't remember how things got this bad. But you're the new adventurer, Renengild's latest volunteer. A real spitfire, she told me. Bet you'd whip those layabouts at the mine into shape. Did you say something, dear? Me? I was the overseer at the mine, back when it was running. Got shut down decades ago when we couldn't sell or ship the stuff. But I still remember plenty about the mining business. And I got as many folk as I can digging out the entrance. Been praying to the salty wench that I don't forget too much afore they finish the job. Got to speak up? My hearing ain't what it was.
They've destroyed the stockade, Mother. It's...
Enough. They're gone. The deliverer of Cadnua. Thank you for making the journey. Abidan knows it's a long one. Well, I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged for your capable intervention. Then far be it from me to waste your time with idle chatter. Stalwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow. And for every trader or adventurer that comes through, 3 of our own leave for good. But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains, when the White March was the envy of empires. The Pargrin dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stalwart. But we need the White Forge. Of course, been over 200 years since anyone's felt so much as a summery breeze near it. I'm hoping you can do something about that. We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door. A dozen different groups have come through at our request, and several more besides. Been hoping that one of them could clear the way through Durgan's battery. But young or old, green or seasoned, it don't seem to matter. They cast their spells, chisel at the door, and search the grounds until they've worn new treads into the old stone. The lucky ones eventually go home. Plenty more find themselves on the wrong side of a blizzard, or an ogre raiding party. We're an old mining town. Or we were until the Adirans pulled out and left us with a half-dug mine shaft and something resembling an inn. Since then, it's been a steady decline. You've seen the roads. Isn't much we can produce that the Valians can't ship cheaper. But the White Forge, well, if we could fire it up again and start producing Durgan steel, or something close to it, wouldn't matter if we're in the White March or the Living Lands. Business would come. That's the long and short of it. We're laborers and fisherfolk, not adventurers. But Durgan steel could put Stalwart on the map again, open up the mines, bring in new business. We just need the White Forge. Because you can shave stone with it, cleave cast iron in two, and the stuff's as rare as it is remarkable. If we could make something even half as good,
We'd have a market at our doorstep and work enough for all of Stalwart. Where should I start? Ogres, blizzards, or sheer damned inaccessibility? It ain't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much. Got untold riches in Durgan steel lying just inside, and never mind the White Forge itself. The Adirans who first settled Stalwart tried to crack it. So did the Valians, and every other cocky adventurer with more metal than sense. But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut, the tower entrances are clogged with rubble, and it's been impossible to blast a way in. It don't bear dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
Killed each other off, or so the old books say.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place. Whatever it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after, moved to gentler, greener lands.
Had the right idea, if you ask me. Finally, someone talking sense.
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. We need the best if we're going to keep Stalwart alive. No one alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was powerful, glowed white-hot, and gave off a steady, even heat, unlike any other furnace. Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use. Pargrin's a word in their language. Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but I couldn't tell you much more. The battery's up the mountain to the north, a good hike away.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
So it is, though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything. Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there. Me and the rest of the town. He knows better than to linger at our gates. Old lunatic finally went too far, and we sent word to the Valian academies. I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we gave him the boot.
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all. Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales. Belongs to Flames That Whisper, Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance or the broken stockade.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
One less matron would make our walls safer. What's left of them, anyway. Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared near her turf.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
If anyone could parley with an ogre, I suppose it'd be you. But they aren't known for their patience with prattle. Good. Before you leave town, stop by the Graves Rest. Most visitors to Stalwart spend some time there, so Hafric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land. What's on your mind? The Pargrin dwarves guarded it like a mother bear. It's a wonder we know as much as we do. What's on your mind? Adir founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. Saw a fair bit of traffic from both sides of the White March then. But after the Dyrwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore. Didn't have much reason to maintain our supply routes. Officially. Though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it. Here in the center? Let's see. The Graves Rest is next door. Hafric can set you up with a room and a hot meal there. The fishery's just on the edge of the lake, and the Temple of Andra is next to it. No one keeps a secret like Lavda. Or so I'm told. A few folk live in this part of town, too. Seemed a lot safer before the ogres broke through the western gate. Thiersch lives next to the old mine shaft, and Tana, the old mine overseer, is next door to me. I'm the mayor, or so I'm reminded every time there's a game shortage, ogre attack, or a neighborly dispute. I'm a builder by trade, though. Traveled all over Air Glonfoth and the Dyrwood in my younger days, but ended up back here anyway. What's on your mind? They didn't volunteer much, and I knew better than to ask. I've seen all types charging through here. Professional companies with shiny new equipment as brazen as you please, and hopeless runts with nothing but tattered leathers. But these folk, I don't know what they were after, and the way they looked at you made you feel cold all over. Wish I could tell you more.
Figured you'd be out of here in a flash after the fighting died down. Most people don't stick around after they figure out the ogres are making regular visits. I would have helped fight them monsters off, you know, if I didn't think I'd just get in the way. And with you there to handle things, everything turned out well enough, didn't it? Don't see why Havric's still sour at me. Oh, Havric's the innkeeper over at the Graves Rest. I may have been hiding in the inn when the fighting started. The raid didn't improve his disposition any. Did you know he has a whole case of Fenlin liquor in there? I keep offering to buy it off him, but he says he's saving it up for when the battery's open again. As if we're gonna last that long. Anyhow, he said he'd thrash me up and down the mountain if I didn't leave him be. It's delusional is what it is. Hey, look, maybe, not that you have the face for it or anything, but maybe you could help me out. Averick keeps all the good stock in the inn cellar. Out of sight, you see. I mean, it's bound to be under lock and key, but I'm sure he wouldn't miss a single bottle. Not with everything that's going on. Shh, all right, keep it down. I didn't mean anything by it. But if you happen to come across some, then maybe you could share?
Thought I'd found shelter when I stumbled across this little village. Guessing you did too, huh? As much blood as there was in the streets, I'm lucky the ale's still flowing. Thought all the whispers about Durgan's battery were just village superstition. And maybe they are. But I might have been on my guard if I'd listened. I was part of an expedition, hunting for relics from Durgan's battery. And picked up a good haul, too. So it figures that's when the winds pick up and the sky starts dumping snow. We lost sight of the road. Meanwhile, something else found us. Took Liam out before we even realized we were surrounded. And then we see him coming out of the snow. These little four-armed wilder. Lagufoth, they're called. Quick little bastards. Francesca and I held them off as long as we could, but when they filled her full of darts, I turned tail and ran. Found my way here and thanked my luck for escaping the Lagufoth. Then come to find out that this town's got an ogre problem. That's a kind sentiment. I'll mourn them when I get home. But I've got to retrieve our haul if I'm to have any hope of that. I need to get those artifacts. Not that I'm in any shape to go after them myself. But I can't afford to return to Defiance Bay without something to show for my expedition. But you've got your own expedition to the Battery, don't you? While you're out there, maybe you could look for my goods. Whatever's left of them. I'll give you a cut for anything you bring back, of course. I ain't asking for charity. I just can't afford to go home empty-handed. Like I said, we were treasure hunting near Durgan's battery when we were ambushed. What else do you want to know? Who? No, that would have been somebody else. We didn't meet with Renengild, or anyone else in town for that matter. We were operating on our own. We took out several loans to pay for our trip out here. I'm gonna have trouble if I don't pay them back. Just that it's been locked up tight for 200 years on account of those dwarves having a row. Which means that any trinkets from inside fetch a nice price. Sorry, I'm more of a businesswoman than a historian.
Never seen such a bloodbath. Feels like we got half the town's survivors in here, just drinking to forget it. But you must be looking for some refreshment, too, after the way you handled them ogres. Or perhaps a room. Say the word, and I'll give that shifty little Orlin the boot. Showed up a few days ago, sticks his nose out of the back room just long enough to empty his chamber pot. Up to no good, I tell you. I'd like nothing more than to see him gone, but I don't want a ruckus over it. We get our share of lowlifes coming through here. Smugglers, fugitives, Kith looking to avoid the sharp eye of the law. Ways keeping to himself, well, honest Kith sure don't have cause for it. I'd appreciate it. And I suppose I don't need to remind you that I don't want you to hurt him. I'm sure you can find a more discreet way of handling the problem.
Not to be rude, but I'm rather busy. Can't you get another room? He... what? Oh, no. No. Is she there? Did you see her? Devala. That woman. The slaver, she... I was a slave in Raid Ceres. I ran away. Made it here. The mountains are usually the best place to lose slavers, but Devala's one of the best. I just want to get out of here. I've scraped together enough money to reach New Haelmar. But the locals talk about a Raid Saren party camped west of town. It's got to be Devala. She's been after me since the foothills. I'll pay you if you can get rid of her. I don't care how. Thank you. But be careful. She wouldn't have come alone.
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you? He did he? That shifty little crook never learns. I'll have it put away somewhere safe. Thank you for doing the decent thing. Here, for your honesty.
Sorry. Didn't hear you come in. My ears aren't what they used to be. I'm Thiersch. I've lived here long enough that Kith have started calling me the Old Hunter. And that's about all I can say for myself. Wasn't the ogres, I can tell you that. Put a few arrows in one of those and they generally have the good sense to back off. But I've been hunting this wolf for near a year now. A man-eater. Cunning, nasty thing. Every time I get close, it just slips away. The beast has already claimed many lives. The first victim was my son, Saldren. Got the better of me this last time. Distracted me long enough for one of its kin to turn up. Nearly bit me clean in half. I'm a few weeks out from trying again. Nothing to tell. Near misses, all of them. One time he clambered right up the cliffs to avoid my snares. Another time, he chased a bear into my camp. I nearly had him once. I could hear him below, eating, and I had the gun aimed right for him. Until the wind changed. He charged headlong into the tree to get at me. Nearly knocked me off my perch. And when I righted myself, he was gone. It roams the russet wood out to the west. Seems to have decided the lake is a good place to find prey. Yeah. It's picked off some scattered ogres from time to time. But mostly it's been going after hunters, travelers. no ordinary wolf. A monster. This creature is big. And I see the signs it leaves behind. The mess it made to the last couple of hunters, and the elk. Doesn't always finish its meals. Damn thing might be sick. Might have a bullet in its jaw. Something. In any case, it needs to be put down. It needs doing. But I warn you, this beast is not to be trifled with. It must make its lair somewhere to the west. If you mean to go there, keep your wits about you. Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something. Coming to your elders for advice, is it? What can I do for you? Well, I can tell you it won't be here much longer if things go on as they are. With the mines closed, we've lost what put us on the map in the first place. We're losing people every month. Too many mouths to feed and not enough to support them. Even the game's dwindling. I've been lucky. I've hides and horns enough to keep the traders happy, but now the ogres are picking the rest of us off. The moment we started looking into Durgan's battery, it was like we'd kicked a hornet's nest. You made a good showing against that last group, by the way. I think you've given them reason to think twice about coming back. It's been a colder season than usual, and the elk herds aren't faring well. We're stuck fighting with the ogre clans and the wolves over what's left. Not to mention the occasional beast. We've lost a lot of young hunters. It has. We had some hope in the early days that we'd be spared, isolated as we are. That hope died in a hurry. Not everyone's been so unlucky, of course. You'll see a few pampered sprats around. Long hours checking snares and waiting out elk, mostly. Used to hunt some of the big ones. Bear, stelgare. But up here, it comes down to necessity. Which means keeping Stalwart fed, or else keeping it safe. Thing is, the last hunt didn't go so well, as you can see.